What's going on, guys? Way from Revolution here in Saint-Émilion, and I'm ecstatic. I'm joined by Stéphanie de Boüard-Rivoal, who since 2012 has taken the helm of this mythical estate, Château Angelus. How are you?
I'm very well, and yourself?
I'm, as I said, ecstatic. I'm so delighted to be here. I'm a bit of a wine fan, and to meet you is kind of like meeting a rock star, so I'm very happy.
Oh, you're too flattering. No, it's a pleasure for me to meet you and to welcome you at Angelus, to make you discover our history, our estate, our wine, to rediscover our wine, and to share my passion with you.
You are the 8th generation in this wonderful ownership of this estate. And James Suckling, I believe, said that your father brought the estate to a new level. Can you tell me a little bit about what you learned from him and what that has imparted upon you philosophically?
Well, indeed, my father is really a person that did a lot for Angelus, but I would say for Bordeaux. He came at a period where the enology was starting to get revolutioned. So he has really brought some improvement, not only him, but he was really one of the pioneers, one of the leaders to bring new techniques and to make the enology evolve and make a huge step in Bordeaux. What I've learned from him is really the determination, and that I'm always fighting when there's a hurdle. I will always continue. And most of the time we have great achievements.
Amazing. You know, we had the great opportunity last night to drink a bottle of 2007, which I believe is a vintage that your father oversaw.
Yes.
And I would say the word that to describe what I drank was just this laser beam like precision. It was extraordinary in terms of its, just the core. And then, it started to open after a while and be so expressive, but there was so much length, there was so much clarity in the vision as well. So he's amazing.
I love this vintage. I mean, they're all different and they all have something special. 2007 had this very velvety texture, the very soft tannins, and the wine is ready to drink. It is a wine that is very delicate, that is fine, that is and has, the Cabernet Franc is really the signature of our wines. It's the DNA of Angelus, and this Cabernet Franc brings freshness, tension, finesse, and long finish.
Yes.
And I love that. And what you describe is really, reflecting what Cabernet Franc brings to Angelus. And of course, the Merlot with the roundness, the richness, the opulence of the wine. So I think that's a great balance between the two.
Amazing. So I was reading about your vision for Angelus, and one thing that I was very impressed with was the idea that you want to even increase the excellence. So I believe I read that if grapes were being scored in a rank of 20 out of 20, you want only grapes between 19 and 20 to actually make it to the flagship wine, and the rest will be used for Carillon and the other wines as well. Why this insistence on improving quality?
Yeah, because in my mind, my goal is the ongoing quest for excellence. So you never reach perfection, but you can get closer to it. How am I going to do better? There are always little improvements. Any additional unit of precision, I'm sure we can do, and we've done in the past. And I'm convinced that it is the only way to maintain, to continue in this industry at this level that I'm aiming, that I'm targeting for the future, and for the future generations that I have in mind, of course.
Yes, I totally agree with you. I think there's only a finite quantity of the truly finest things in the world in every genre, and to focus on this, I think, is really the way to go. Stephanie, you mentioned a family-run estate, and I wanted to ask you a question. We're now in Bordeaux, where there's so many owned by conglomerates, but the beauty of your estate is that your best clients can come and meet you, perhaps even shake your father's hand, or even have lunch with you. It's so innately human. What is the power for you of a family-run estate?
Owning and running. Our family has owned this estate for more than 2 centuries, just over 2 centuries. We're not the only one. I mean, with this length, probably not many. But the fact that we here as a family run the business, we are with the team, we meet our customers, our visitors. This is something very special. We live on the estate. We have the expertise, the winemaking that we transmit from generation to generation. This, I think, is very unique, to gather all these elements. And so we can transmit the soul of the wine, the soul of the history of the family. I think that's very special.
I want to ask you a question. Actually, I'm just going to pose 3 words to you. You tell me what they mean to you. Mm-hmm. So labor, fidelity, and family.
Labor is really the hard work I mentioned. I consider that my ancestors and my father, not an ancestor, but just the generation before, has worked continuously all over their lives to make sure that Angelus is really producing the great wines. So I have this duty to continue and to work very hard, to ensure that I continue the elevation of Château Angelus. And when we were talking about family-owned estate, something that comes to my mind now and that is essential is the long-term view. Long-term view for a family estate is key, is essential. And if I want a long-term view, I have to have stability. So fidelity, loyalty is something essential. And the last?
Family.
Family, I don't even know if I need to explore more, but I have two young children, 4 and 5. They are already harvesting, picking, they have their basket, their scissors, they do it with their grandfather. I'm here also, and it's something, that is just so special for us, because one of my main challenge, as I told you, is really to transmit to the following generations. And the interest of the assay of Angelus, I think, is really linked to how the family manages the estate. So the family is one thing, but the merit is very important. Cannot just arrive say, oh, I'm from the family. They need to deserve, they need to be willing to, they need to have the experience.
Amazing. Okay, so my last question for you is related to a watch brand also named Angelus, in fact, your namesake, and you share a very friendly relationship with this brand. Can you tell us a little bit about this?
I think it's very interesting to have connections and to share values with different houses, different brands. Angelus is one of them. It is in the horlogerie. It is something that we share, that is we have so many things in common. The relationship to time, the temporality is so important for us. The time to grow, to cultivate the vine, the grapes, and then to wait until the wine ages and is tasted, is drunk at a perfect timing. So time at this, on this subject is key, is essential. And with Angelus watch, it's a long history as well. For us, totally in line with the quality, with our expectations for our wine. So I think that's a great, and the name, it goes without saying.
And we have a very special watch here. This is actually your father's.
It is.
Angelus Chronodate from 1945. And what an extraordinary watch that is. And it's really amazing to see that, because it shows you how perennial both watches and wine can be.
Exactly. No, it's wonderful. He got this watch a few years ago. It was a gift from his wife. And I had told him, that I discovered the Angelus watches a long time ago. And he said to me, I'm going to get one day. So that's the first one. And, he has another one, an additional one. And you can be sure that it's not the last one in the family. I will get one, for myself one day, I hope so.
Fantastic. Maybe we can help you out with that.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
My great pleasure.
Absolute pleasure.
Thank you very much.